She goes, because we speak the same language. And Brent knows a little bit about that language, and it's the language of soul. And it's actually consciously cultivated in our programs there at Pacifica. So yes, we speak the same language, and you'll see how beautifully that's articulated with her presentation today. So please welcome Rebecca Cacciari.
As a woman, I grew up in an industrial world. I felt relentless dependence since I was a little girl. I heard words that hurt. I felt hands that scarred my mental. This gentle flower I knew I had to empower to find security within, strength to begin to see that I was fiending for attention. Now, I must mention I had to study philosophy and observe children developing to see my own self enveloping old ways and old habits, because I had it engraved that I had remained enslaved in my adolescence. So I searched out for the essence that created me. You see, we can't all be born into righteous situations. Often there's illusion, confusion, and then bruising when another is choosing to fall off the path, creating their own. Without guidance, I felt alone as a child, mostly at night, laying in bed. I had thoughts of being dead, corrupt thoughts for a child's head. And when I cried then, I bled. It dripped on my pillow red, like hot coals, like love, like danger. A stranger to my own innocence, I felt I was stuck since I can remember. But wisdom comes from traveling. And so truth began unraveling, and I found myself scrambling to get on my feet. I couldn't let defeat trip me up. I'd had enough. I was scared, but dared to give my heart 1,000,000 times, and then 1,000,000 more. And I stopped keeping score because the door to my Creator was open, knowing I was broken. The earth lent her humble hand, the sun her courage, the wind her voice, and the water her caress. And I dress each morning now, adoring her choice of day as she gives it, because this is life as I live it. I know we've got to choose our friends wisely, because people wear disguises, but we stand in the light of one only. We may profess and confess, but our own needs are only met by the power that resides inside. We've got to be strong to live long. Our word is our bond. So let's get along with our mothers, our brothers, our lovers, discovering the unity, the power in we, the beauty in loving, the comfort in hugging, and the wisdom in living. One love. My topic today is the maiden journey. And so I begin today with a maiden memoir that I wrote when I turned 20. Since that time, I earned my bachelor's in religious studies, one in music, and my master's in mythological studies with an emphasis in depth psychology. By looking back at my memoir through recitation, I'm able to see my wounds, to witness my journey, and to honor my own process of change. But it wasn't until I looked at my life through a mythical lens that I understood the trauma I had endured, the complexity of my soul, and the work that lay ahead of me. In myth, I found a larger mirror to reflect my experiences. But why myth and why not religion? For my own suffering and my own trauma, I kept searching my religion for answers. Born and raised Catholic, 12 years of private Catholic school, and still no answers. I felt I had hit rock bottom. I tried to be pagan, and then I read the Bhagavad Gita, and I found out about the self, and I wondered who she was. So although there are many stories today, I'm bringing to you the story of Snow White, her archetypal journey, and an emphasis on the narrative process towards healing and survival, because I believe that our story matters. So I've been heartbroken, literally, I get emotional about it every time I think about the world and the suffering in this world. Particularly lately, I've been thinking about the maidens abducted by the Boko Haram, the continuous media coverage of the rapes throughout India, and the recent stories I've read about the guerrilla female soldiers in Colombia's Revolutionary Armed Forces, the FARC. This is Teresa's image from the FARC. Her story specifically struck me because this is the image that was used in BBC News. Teresa tells BBC, "When I was a child, the FARC killed my mother and forced me to join them. Before long, I became pregnant. There have been cases where women were forced to have an abortion in the 7th or 8th month, and many women died like that. So I hid it up to the 7th month because I was already showing by then. So I told them I was pregnant. A few weeks after giving birth to my baby girl, the commanders forced me to sign a document and give her away to a family they knew of. After demobilizing, I started looking for my daughter and found her. I am now in the middle of a legal battle for the right to share the child with the family who raised her." So before we continue, I'd like to take a moment of silence for these women, to send a prayer for their freedom, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. May all beings be free from suffering. From a mythological perspective, Carl Jung and Carl Perenni identified 6 prominent characteristics of maidenhood. They found that the maiden is pursued, robbed, raped, lacks understanding, rages, and grieves. While these characteristics of maidenhood are prominent in mythology, I think it resonates with many of us here today, and it illustrates the concern we must have for the maiden and her need for support.